They stood at attention, boots aligned with metallic precision, the air dense with tension and ozone. The coalition's elite, drawn from 100 worlds, each soldier forged in different gravities, pressures, and wars, now stood shoulder to shoulder beneath the glaring lights of the hangar. Among them, a human, Lieutenant Kara Miles. She was the smallest on the line, lean, compact, silent. Her uniform fit too well, her stance too calm, her eyes too still. The others shifted minutely. Chitin clicked, scales rustled, breathing apertures hissed, but Kara remained still. General Zorvac approached, a mass of armor and scaled muscle. He towered over the formation. Her legs clicked against the floor like the ticking of a predator's patience. He stopped before Kara. "This," he growled, voice reverberating through the bay, "is what the Terrans send? A child-sized carbon sack?" No one laughed. Not because the joke lacked cruelty, Zorvac's kind enjoyed that, but because no one wanted to draw his eye next. Still, the insult hovered like static. Kara didn't flinch. Zorvac lowered his snout to her eye level. His nostrils flared as he inhaled her scent. "You reek of weakness." Soft-boned, slow-blooded. She met his gaze, expression unreadable. "Yes, sir. Do not patronize me, human. Your words are hollow. Your form pathetic." Kara blinked once. Acknowledged. He lingered, nostrils twitching, waiting for defiance. He found only calm. Frustrated, he straightened and stomped away, muttering something in his native tongue that smelled like disdain. The inspection continued. Kara remained unshaken. Later, in the mess, the whispers started. You see the way she just stood there? Dead calm. Not even a blink when he moved in. Humans are strange. Or stupid. A reptilian medic leaned over to her squadmate. She's marked. I saw it under her sleeve. A sigil. Terran superstition. No. Military ink. High tier. But I don't recognize it. They glanced at Kara. She ate quietly, alone. A small tear in her right sleeve revealed a hint of ink, black against pale skin. Just enough to raise questions. Not enough to give answers. Kara noticed the glances. She was used to them. To them, she was the anomaly. Small, quiet, unreadable. In a galaxy where dominance was shouted and strength paraded, Kara didn't posture. She didn't need to. In the barracks, her squad mates kept their distance. Some out of caution, some out of disdain. She didn't mind. It was easier this way. She sat on her bunk, checking her gear, fingers deft and practiced. Her tools were arranged with geometric precision. Across the aisle, a towering avian species muttered under his breath, just loud enough for her to hear. Better hope she doesn't get assigned front line. One burst, and she'll fold like carbon paper. Kara didn't respond. She ran a cloth along her weapon's barrel, methodical. She remembered Tartarus. She remembered heat, screams, ash. She remembered holding the line while waiting for reinforcements that never came. She remembered digging her own way out when the enemy buried the forward command post. She remembered being the last voice on the comms, the last human breath in that hellhole. She remembered earning the ink. A memory surfaced. The lieutenant's voice, rasping over static. They'll never understand what this means, Kara, but they'll see it. Someday. And they'll stop laughing. That voice was gone now, vaporized with the bunker. She adjusted her sleeve, covering the mark again. The next day brought drills. Her movements were sharp, deliberate. She didn't waste energy. She didn't impress. She survived. Zorvac watched from the platform. His eyes lingered on her longer than others. He didn't say anything this time. He didn't need to. Kara felt the shift. The weight of curiosity beginning to outweigh mockery. A few gazes carried questions. She welcomed them. Let them wonder. Let them talk. She hadn't come to impress. She'd come to endure. The simulation began without warning. Alarms screamed, lights dimmed, and the floor beneath them shook as false grav fields mimicked atmospheric turbulence. The squad scattered, moving on instinct toward cover, weapons drawn. Kara moved with them, quiet and efficient, her face unreadable as she scanned the terrain. It was a war game, but unlike anything Earth ever used. Hollow walls created alien terrain, shifting dunes, jagged rocks, and predator-infested canyons. The objective was simple: extract a civilian asset deep within hostile territory. The danger was less simple. The weapons were real. The injuries real. Only death was simulated, but pain remained entirely authentic. Kara kept her position mid-pack, not leading, not lagging, just present. Sergeant Vrel, a boulder-sized mammalian with armored hide, grunted. "Watch the rear, human. Try not to fall behind." Kara nodded once. No comment. Her rifle tracked smoothly, every breath controlled. They advanced. Zorvac observed from an upper platform, watching them through overlapping data feeds. His gaze frequently flicked to Kara. She was quiet, too quiet. Vrel's unit moved into a ravine, narrow, dark, unstable. Kara scanned the rock face, eyes pausing on a fissure above. "Ceiling's fractured," she said. Vrel scoffed. "It's simulation. That's texture." Kara kept her voice level. "No, it's not." They moved ahead anyway. The rockfall triggered 2 minutes later. It was fast, brutal, real. Simulated stone crushed 2 squad mates. Non-lethal by design, but enough to knock them out of the exercise. Panic surged. Orders became noise. The squad faltered. Kara didn't. She pulled the avian medic out by his harness, then rolled into cover and returned fire at automated drones emerging from the ridge. Her shots were tight, timed, effective. She didn't miss. Vrel scrambled behind cover, panting. Who the hell told them to ambush here? Kara didn't answer. She was already moving again, flanking wide, eyes scanning for fallback points. The squad regrouped under fire. The medic shouted, "We've got no angle." Kara didn't speak. She tossed a beacon into the drone line, triggering a misfire in their targeting sync. A brief flicker in their patterns opened a gap. She surged forward, motioning. "Move. Now." They moved. By the time they reached the extraction point, 3 were wounded. 1 was limping, all breathing hard, except Kara. She checked her weapon, reloaded, and stood watch as the evac drone hovered down. The objective, an AI core disguised as a diplomat, was secured. When the exercise ended, Zorvac met them at the debrief chamber. His tone was measured. The human performed above expected metrics. No praise, just fact. But it landed heavily in the room. Vrel frowned. "She saved us. Twice." No one spoke for a moment. Then a new voice. "She's marked." The room turned. It came from the avian medic. He pointed at Kara's arm. The tear from the ravine had widened, revealing half the tattoo now. A stark black spiral intersected with a pair of inverted chevrons. The shape was clean, elegant, unmistakably human, but foreign even to those familiar with Terran iconography. Zorvac stepped forward. "That symbol," he said. "I've seen it once." Kara said nothing. He stared at her. "You wear it openly?" "I wear it where it belongs." The general's voice dropped. "That's the mark of Tartarus. The siege survivors. A myth." "No myth," she said. 74 entered. 9 walked out. Silence. Vrel blinked. "You're one of them?" Kara turned away. "I was the last voice on the line." They watched her differently after that. Not just as the human, not just as the small one, but as someone who had endured something they'd only read about in after-action reports blacked out by multiple command levels. Kara walked past them all, still silent. She didn't need to explain. They'd seen just enough now to realize they hadn't seen anything yet. And Zorvac, for the first time in cycles, said nothing at all. Zorvac summoned her without pretense. The door sealed behind Kara with a hydraulic hiss, leaving them alone in the cold, dim-lit chamber. No rank, no audience, just questions he could no longer ignore. "You fought at Tartarus," he said, voice low. "Yes." "You survived?" "I did." He studied her, not with disdain now, but with measured calculation. "I've read the report. What fragments weren't redacted? A fortress planet overrun. No reinforcements. No escape. The Terran fleet listed all ground units as lost. And yet, 9 lived," she said. "Long enough to be counted." Zorvac circled her slowly. "What did you do down there, human?" "We held the line." He stopped. "You make it sound simple." It wasn't. He looked down at the tattoo again, the whole of it now visible. A ring of hash marks etched within the spiral, one for each confirmed kill made while cut off, alone, running on rations of ash and adrenaline. That mark, he said, means you endured what most species would not even comprehend. It marks you not as a warrior, but as a revenant. Kara nodded once. Why didn't you tell anyone? He asked. Would it have mattered? He didn't answer. She met his gaze calm. You mocked me for my size, for being human, but you never asked what we survived to get here. Zorvak's voice lost its edge. I believe your kind soft, your technology crude, your biology unimpressive. We are all of those things, she said, and yet we remain. He looked away, contemplative. I led troops at the siege of Drenhall. 2 days under enemy barrage. I thought that was war. Kara said nothing. He turned back. Tartarus lasted 21. 32, she corrected. He blinked. No food after the first week. No medical resupply. Every signal jammed. We fought in the dark with blades when the ammo ran dry. Zorvak's tone softened, almost reverent. Why weren't you pulled out? We weren't supposed to survive. Pulling us out would have meant admitting we were still alive. His jaw tightened. And you never surrendered? We're human, she said simply. Silence stretched between them. It didn't feel empty. I know of your kind's history, Zorvak said. Your planet forged in fire, soaked in conflict. You evolved by surviving catastrophe. She looked up at him. You think strength comes from scale, from muscle, from the size of soldier. We learned long ago that strength is what remains after hope is gone. He stood motionless, the weight of her words anchoring him. I misjudged you. You weren't the first. I won't be the last, he said. I don't need you to believe in me, she said. I need you to remember what I am when the next fight comes. He gave a slow, deliberate nod. You wear that tattoo with purpose. I wear it so others know where the line is. And what waits if they cross it? For the first time, Zorvak stepped back. Not in fear, but in respect. The general's voice lowered. Do others on your world bear such marks? Some, she said, but most didn't live long enough to earn one. He paused. And if another Tartarus comes? Kara's eyes didn't waver. Then I'll be the one walking out again. Zorvak looked at her not as prey, not as anomaly, but as proof. A data point too sharp to ignore. Something terrifying in its steadiness. Something familiar only to those who had bled and kept moving. No more words passed between them. But when she left, the door stayed open a moment longer. And Zorvak stared at the space she'd occupied as if trying to calculate what else he'd missed. The repairs took days. Silence returned to the ship, but it was not the same kind of silence as before. It was weightier, earned. The crew moved differently around her now. No more glances of doubt. No more whispers behind her back. Where there had once been suspicion, there was now distance of a different kind, deference. Space given, not out of fear, but out of something close to reverence. Kara used the time to recalibrate her gear. Alone, as always. No one offered help. No one dared. They had all seen the lines she crossed, the ones they didn't realize existed until she walked through them with precision and purpose. Vrel approached her first. He didn't ask questions. He just sat on the bench opposite her, holding his broken sidearm. He didn't speak, and neither did she. After a while, he held up the weapon. Not quite a request, not quite a gesture of peace. She took it, fixed it, handed it back. That was enough. One by one, others followed. Not to speak, just to sit near her. They'd seen the truth and didn't need explanation. Not all understood what she'd done. Most never would. But they accepted it now as part of the ship's gravity, unseen but undeniable. Zorvak called a full crew assembly days later. Formal, structured, rare. These were not ceremonies a species favored, but exceptions were made when truths needed to be etched into memory. The hangar was full, every rank and race present. Kara stood at the edge, as always, not seeking the center. Zorvak did that for her. He spoke with none of the scorn that had once laced his voice. This ship faced extinction, not in war games, not in training, but in fire. And it stood because someone who should not have been strong enough was. He turned to her then. Lieutenant Kara Miles. You were mocked for your size, judged for your species, dismissed for your silence. She met his gaze. Steady. You are none of those things. You are the reason this crew breathes. He stepped aside, leaving the space open. She didn't move into it. He spoke again. You do not ask for recognition, so let this crew carry it for you. There were no cheers, only silence. A silence thicker than noise. A silence of acknowledgement. She turned and left the gathering before it ended. She didn't need it. In the weeks that followed, Command relayed the footage of the incident to Coalition headquarters. It was reviewed by dozens of analysts, most of whom paused when they reached the moment Kara took control. The AI tracking crew stress levels noted a spike during the breach, then an immediate drop the moment her voice issued orders. Consistency, calm. Minimal variance. A statistical anomaly, they said. A commendation followed, but she refused a promotion. She had what she needed, control, and it counted. The rest was decoration. New recruits arrived 2 cycles later. Fresh eyes. Loud opinions. One of them, tall and eager, made the same mistake Zorvak once did. He laughed when he saw her. That's the one everyone talks about. She's shorter than the rifle she carries. Vrel leaned in, without looking up from his gear. You see that tattoo? The recruit glanced. Yeah, what is it? Vrel stood. That's not a symbol. That's a warning label. The recruit frowned. Warning for what? For you, Vrel said. And whatever poor bastard thinks, she needs saving. From then on, the new recruits watched her like the others did, carefully. Karen never changed. She trained. She maintained her rifle. She listened more than she spoke. And always, beneath her sleeve, the tattoo remained. She didn't display it. She didn't need to. It was already etched into every corridor she'd walked through, every command she'd given, every life she'd saved. Not just ink on flesh, but a mark burned into memory, hers and theirs. She wasn't larger than them. She didn't have to be.